What's up guys, welcome back to a new tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a better pen platformer. Here's the game that I'm working on, that I'm using this method to make with. This is a method created by Xerx that I adapted, so credit to him for creating the original method. So I'm going to show you how to make a lot better pen platformer. As you can see, there's all of these cool effects. There's gravity switches, lava, and all of this stuff that you can do. And there's all this there's an outline on the platforms. I added a pause. I'm just gonna show you how to make the basic parts of it, because this has over 4,000 blocks. But and I don't think I'll show text because I used someone's text engine and then I converted it to be scrolling. But I'm just going to show you how to make a basic game like this. Let's get started. Okay, so I made a new project here. And what you're going to do is, I just have nothing here. And so to start, I'm going to just make my backdrop here black for the game, because I'm going to make mine be a lot like my game that I showed you. And then I'm going to paint a new sprite, and I'm going to call this one Pen. And so then for the guy, this is going to be for the hitbox, just like in my other tutorial. So I'm just going to set the outline to 0, because if you don't, it'll actually mess it up for some reason. And then I'm just going to do a 40 by 40 cube. So if you hold shift, it'll make an exact cube, so you can do that. And then see this is telling me the exact dimensions of what my shape is, so I can set it until they both equal 40 by 40. See, so now it's 40, 39, and now it's 40 by 40. Okay, so I'm just going to center that, and then I'm going to go into the code. So, first thing we're going to do is just, we're going to get a when flag clicked, and then we're going to erase all. So make sure you get the pen extension from just doing this and then clicking pen. And what this does is it just clears all the pen from the screen. And then let's see, then I'm gonna show you guys how to add checkpoints, I think. So make a variable called checkpoints found, and it doesn't matter if it's for all sprites or for the sprite only, because we're really only going to be using one sprite anyways. So then here what we do is we just say set checkpoints found to 1 instead of setting it to 0, because we're going to have lists, and so if it is set to 0, it's going to read the values from the lists, go to those X and Y positions, so it can't go to item 0 of checkpoint X, so we need to set it to 1. And then we need a variable called player X and player Y. And we're just going to set those both to whatever you want to start. So I'm just going to say 0 and then 0 here. And then we're going to also set never mind actually. So then what we're going to do is broadcast, I might do that later. So then what we're going to do is we're going to broadcast a message called reset and wait, and this is gonna just reset it, except it's gonna be kind of more, it's gonna do the resetting better, I guess. So in the reset, we're just gonna have when I receive reset, we're gonna make a custom block called reset and run without screen refresh. So like that. So then what we're gonna do here in the reset is we're gonna need a lot of lists to record all this stuff. So we're going to need a list called platform type, and then we're going to need a list called platform height, because we are not going to do this if touching color. We're going to do this with lists and stuff to record it. So we're using lists to record the length and width, and then check that way if we're touching things. Then we can make platform length, and then we need platform X, and then platform Y. Okay, so I think that's all the platform list. Oh wait, nope. We also need collision, and we need checkpoint X, and we need checkpoint Y. So now we have these. We have to delete all of these lists. So let's go platform type. I don't think you really need to do them in this order, but then platform height, platform length, and then I'm just going to do platform X, and then platform Y, and then collision here, and then, man, there's a lot of lists. Then just checkpoint X and checkpoint Y. So now we deleted all the lists, we can add a position to the checkpoint X and the checkpoint Y. So we can say add 0 to checkpoint X and 0 to checkpoint Y. So it'll go to the middle. Then we'll need a new variable called dead, which will tell us if the player is dead or not. And so we'll set that to 0. We're also going to need a variable called collision width. And you should probably do this the same as me, and like with the same size square, because it's like I've already have it custom made to this. So then we're gonna set the collision width to be 23, and then we're going to set the player X again to item checkpoints found of checkpoint X. So what this is going to do is it's just going to look at the checkpoint X list, and it's going to go to it's going to go down however many checkpoints that we found, and then it's just one, so it's going to go to this one, and then it's going to set it to that basically. So pretty simple. And then we're just going to set we also need a scroll X. I don't know why I'm doing it in all caps, I just usually do the scroll variables in all caps for some reason. So then we're going to set the scroll X and Y to the player X and the player Y. And why we're doing this is so that if we die then it has to go back, we want the camera to already be on the player, not where we died. Then we'll need XV for X velocity, which is like the speed that it's moving in the X and Y horizontal axis, and then YV for Y velocity, so like for the jumping. And then we'll also set these to 0. There's a lot of variables, but yeah. So I'm gonna do the player movement first, I think, and then I'm going to do the drawing, like the stuff on the screen. So then we're gonna need player width and last variable. Oh wait, well let me set this first before I do the last variable. Okay, 15, and then the last variable is switch. And what the switch is for is I'm gonna show how to make gravity switches. So we need that variable to check if it's a gravity switch or not. So we're gonna set it to 0 because we're not shifting our gravity right now. Okay, so I think we have the reset block finished. So then what we're gonna do next is we're going to put a forever loop right here. And in the forever loop, we're going to do another new custom block and call it game loop. And make sure to click run without screen refresh. So in the game loop, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be the game loop. So yeah. So it's going to have all of the codes and just the game loop. Yeah. So 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that. So game loop. We're gonna erase all, and then we're gonna broadcast. Not broadcast and wait this time. We're gonna broadcast a message called tick, and this is like the tick of the game. This is like the update. It's telling the game to update the game. And then right here, we're going to say when I receive tick. We're gonna set the size to like something giant. And what setting the size to something giant does, you can just type whatever. Setting the size to something giant makes it really big, and then it can go off the screen, so it can draw all the stuff that's not on the screen, so then it doesn't get stuck on the edges, and then we're going to make a block called render game. And this is actually going to be drawing all the stuff in the render game, but I'm not going to do that first, because first I think I want to do the player movement scripts, but we should probably go ahead and make the render game block because we are going to use it. And in the render game, what I'm going to do right now is just duplicate all this. And what this is going to do is it's right here, because it needs to delete all of these again. And then it's also, but make sure not to delete all of collision. And yeah, that's the only change. And then we're gonna have 2 blocks there, but I'm not gonna do those custom blocks yet. Okay, so back to when I receive tick. What are we gonna do here? Well, we're going to do like a bunch of stuff. Just let me get this. Okay. Okay, yeah. Sorry. So then we're going to render game after we set the size to something super big, and I'm also going to make another variable called mode. And what mode is for is I'm going to show how to make a God mode too, because it really helps with the level design and stuff. So you can just put set mode to 0 here, not in the reset though. And then so we're going to say if else the mode, so it's not in God mode, so that would be 0, equals 0. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sets the size back to 100 so we can do the collision correctly, because if it's doing the collision super big, it's just going to hit everything. And then we're going to do physics, so that's a new block. So we're going to say do physics, and this one's going to have some inputs. So then do like // whoops, here I'm just going to change this to physics, and then / is like to separate it, and then speed, so we can put a speed in here, so this is for the player speed, and then we can say and jump height, I think I spelled that right, yeah, and then we can say jump height again. So now we have this, we're gonna click run without screen refresh, and then we're gonna click OK. Then here we're gonna say the speed, I would say like 2.5, and then the jump height of like 13. Okay, so I'm gonna clean up my blocks here, and yeah, so down here, physics, this is where, this is like exactly what it sounds like. It's gonna do all of the physics and all of that stuff, so, yeah. So, set size to 100% again, just in case. Sometimes it doesn't work for some reason, I don't know why. And then we're going to go to the player X minus the scroll X. So it's gonna go where the player should be, because remember the pen, when we're drawing this, the pen is leaving a trail. That's how it draws it. So it's gonna be all over the screen. So we need to go to the player position, not all the drawing places. So let's go to player X minus scroll X and player Y minus scroll Y. So it'll be, because it's going to be scrolling. And then we can just say if the right arrow or D pressed, because I'm also going to have WASD. I have a thumbstick in my game, but I'm not going to show how to do that because you don't really need it. So if right arrow or D pressed, then we're going to change the X fee by speed, and then we can just duplicate this because it's really the same thing for left movement, A pressed, and then we can just do speed times -1, so it's going to move the opposite way. Now if we did a negative number here, then it would need to be just normal speed, because it would move that way. It's just because it's the opposite. Anyways, set XV then. So this is for friction. So if you're moving, you'll like slowly come to a stop, not just like stop, because we want this game to be smooth, not all blocky. So let's set the XV then to the XV, so to itself, times 0.8, and this is just going to slowly get smaller. So if we click this flag and we show this XV, you can see it's get bigger, and then it slowly goes down to 0. And so now what we can do is say if, and this is to help make sure that it doesn't get stuck, because for some reason, and I still don't understand why it does this, if we don't do it this way, then it's going to like freeze if we don't move, and like it's gonna like stop drawing everything. So what we have to do is say if the absolute value, and what this block does is it just converts it to a positive number. That's what the absolute value is. So if the absolute value of XV is greater than 0.9, then we're going to have a new block and call this change player X by, and then we're going to put this in here, and then we're going to say XV for the input, and then run without screen refresh. So we'll put this over here because we're going to do this in just a sec. We're just going to say change player X by the round of XV. Okay. So so we just put round XV there, and then now in the change player X by, we're going to make some new code. So what we're going to do is change exactly what it sounds like. So we're just going to change the player X by the input that we put the XV here. So change player X by XV, but don't do the XV variable. Make sure it's the XV input, because otherwise it won't work. And then what we can do is a new block called collision, and then what we can do for the collision block is just say collision, and then do an input of collision width, and this is for the width of the collision. And then so basically exactly what it sounds like. Then click OK after you click one without screen refresh, because that's what all the blocks are pretty much. Then we can just put the collision width in the collision width thing. And then this part is kind of hard to understand. This is the only part that I don't completely understand, but just try to follow along. So what we do is this delete all, and this is where the delete all of collision goes. And then we need a new variable called I, and what the I is for like the index. So like it's going to do each part of it basically. So set I to 0, and then what we're going to do is repeat the length of platform X, or any list you want. Just make sure it's not one of the checkpoint ones. Make sure it's one of the platform ones. So it's going to repeat for every platform. It's going to change the index by 1, so we're on a different platform, because we can't be on platform 0, so we have to do that part first. And then we can do if, and then this is the part where it gets complicated, not player X is greater than and I understand part of it though, but so if not player X is greater than and then a plus, and then we can do item of platform X, and then we can put that I variable that we have in there. So item I of platform X plus the item I of its width. So it's the X plus the, it kind of makes sense now, plus platform length. So like if it's not greater than it with when you add the length to it, and then also plus the collision width, because this is like for the player, like how much we need to add because of the size of the player. Then we can also say if not the player Y is above it plus the platform height, because so this would check if it's not above it, I think, plus collision width, And then we just have to duplicate this and do, this is for if it's less than, so it's not off it in a different way, so less than, but instead of doing plus here, we have to change these also to be minus, and minus, and then also this needs to be a minus, so there. Then all we do is just add something to the collision, because that would mean it is touching a platform. So then we would add item I of platform type to collision. And why we're doing this is so we can see what kind of platform we're touching. Like, if we're just touching a platform, then we will have a different reaction. But if we're touching like a lava, then we need to like die and stuff. So there's the collision. So if we find, where's the XV, like the change player XY thing? Oh, it's up here. Okay, so then we have our change player XY that we need to finish. So, if you've seen Griffpatch's scrolling platformer tutorial, this is very similar to it. So we're just going to say if the collision contains, so it's exactly what it sounds like, if it has it in this list, if it contains platform, because that's what the platform type's going to be if it's just a normal platform, then we're going to repeat 8 times. So this is for the slope detection, so we can go up a slope that's like 45 pixels high or something, I think. So then we'll just do change the player Y so it can go up the slope by 1, and then we also need to do this collision again so we can see if we're still touching it. And if we're not, which would mean it doesn't contain platform anymore, then we are going to stop, because that means we went all the way up the slope and we don't need to go up anymore. And that means it's not a wall, so we won't have to do anything under this or anything else, or we won't need to wall jump anything. So then what we're going to do is inside this first if, inside the if equals platform, but not inside of any of this other stuff, we're going to say change player Y by -8. So if it didn't stop the script, it can go to this part, and that means it's not a slope, so we want to go back down. Then we're going to say if, and actually this is going to be if else, the key up arrow or W pressed, this is for the wall jumping, so it can go up walls, so up arrow or W, then we, here, there's something for W, so it'll also be WSD, remember, and then, we're gonna jump up the wall, so we're gonna set the YV to something like 25, maybe, and then we're going to say if else the XV is greater than 0, and this is also like in my platformer tutorial, and what this does is it moving right or left basically, and if it is greater than 0, that would mean it's moving right, and so we want it to bounce off the wall, so we'll set it to -25, so it'll go backwards off the wall, and if we're jumping the other way, which would be in the else, then we'll set it to +25, so it'll bounce the other way. Okay, now we have this, and we can just say in this else, we can just set it to 0. If the key isn't being pressed, then we don't want to do anything, so we'll just set it to 0. Yeah. Then what we will do is just say this is for if this is for the wall to keep us from going through walls. So we'll say repeat until we're not touching the platform. So not collision contains platform. Sorry. We're going to do the collision again, so we can keep checking. And then we're going to say if else, and then again, XV is greater than 0. But make sure not to do the variable this time. We're going to do the input that we put in the custom block. So if this xv is greater than 0, we're going to change the player x by -1. So that would mean this is trying to go into a wall and it's touching the platform. Then we want to go out of it. So we're going to change the player x by -1. So we're going to move out. And then if it's not, that would mean it's moving left into a wall. So we're going to change it by 1 to get out. And that is it for this, I think. So yeah. Now we can go back to making more of this. So what we're going to do is we need some gravity. So find the physics over here, I think. Oh yeah, here's the physics. So for the physics, we'll change the YV by -2. So, and what this does is it applies gravity because it's going to move down. And then we can say if, and then we have another variable here. And we aren't using this quite yet, but we will. We need a variable called in_air. And then, so if the in_air is less than 6, and what in_air is going to be for is it's just going to be like if it's in the air, basically. And so this, if we say is less than 6, it'll allow us to jump like a few, like right after we fall off. So yeah. So if in_air is less than 6, then it'll make it so that we can jump right after we go off the platform. And then and then we can go and find this, because I'm just going to duplicate this for the jumping. So if this is pressed, and then take it out of this, set x, because we don't want to set it to that. We can, here, just a sec. Sorry, just need to put this in here. So if this is pressed, then we're going to jump, so we can set the YV to the jump height that we set. So that would be 13, I think. Yeah. So set YV to jump height, and then we're going to say if the collision, if the collision contains a bounce, and what the bounces are going to do is there's going to be like bounce pads and stuff. So if collision contains bounce, then it's going to set the YV to 30, so it will bounce up in the air. And maybe I'll do 40, that might be a little better. Okay, so then we're going to do the, this is going to be very similar to the change player XY. We're just going to say change player Y by, and then an input of YV, and then run without screen refresh. And what we can do is, except this time, we don't need to round it. We can just do change player Y by just the YV variable. And then we can go over to, where is it? I don't know where it put it when I cleaned the box up. Oh, here it is. Okay, so then, in this change player Y by, like I said, it's going to be really, really similar to the change player X by, except it's for the Y. So, here, just a sec. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So for the change player Y by, sorry for the wait there, we're just going to say if else, and then the switch equals 0, and what the switch is for, remember, it's if we're switching our gravity, so if it's 0, that would mean we are not switching our gravity. So if it's 0, we're just going to do it normally and change the player Y by the YV input. Then if it is switching, then we're going to change it by the YV times -1. So it'll go up instead of down, unless we're jumping or something. And then we're going to change the in_air by 1, so that here, sorry. So here we're actually using the in_air variable. And then we're going to get this collision block again, because we need it for the collision, and then we can do the collision width. So then we're going to say repeat until where not the collision contains the platform. So if we're not, repeat until not collision contains platform. So we can go down and get this. So not collision contains platform. We are just gonna keep doing the collision, and then we're going to here, let's move this down. Then we're going to set the YV to 0, and then we're going to say an if else, and then we're going to do the switch again equals 0. Then we're going to do an if else again, and then do the YV is greater than 0, and not the input. I mean, not the variable. Then we're going to change the player Y by -1, and this would mean we're hitting the ceiling. And then if we're not hitting the ceiling, which would mean an else, we're going to change that Y by 1, which would mean we're hitting the floor. And if we're hitting the floor, we want to set the in air to 0, because that would mean we're not in the air, we're on the floor. And then, but here we're going to say in the else, we're going to do the opposite thing. And we're going to say if else YV times -1 is greater than 0. We're going to change the player Y by -1, but we're going to set the in air to 0. And then else we're going to change the player Y by 1. Okay, so this block is now done. And then so if we clean this up, then we now we just need the rest of the physics, which is just like, pretty sure it's just gonna be like the dying and stuff. So and the scroll. So if, and then collision, and then actually let's do an or, and then another or, and then so in this ors, in this one I'll put if YV is less than -100. So we're falling, like if we get a gravity shift, we want to stop. But I'm not going to say if it's greater than something, because we might just go really high in the game. Like there might be just stuff that's just really high or something. So then also we're going to say if then the player Y player Y is less than -300, or the collision contains lava, and this is of course for the dying, so or collision contains lava, then we are going to set the dead to 1, because because it's for the dying. And then we can say change the scroll X by the player X minus scroll X, so you can get this from up here, and then we can say divided by 5, and this is just going to make it slowly catch up to the player, so it'll just look really smooth. Oops. And then for the scroll Y, it's pretty much the same thing. You just duplicate it, and then just make sure to change this to scroll Y, and then this to be player Y, and then this to be scroll Y. Okay, so now that we did this, we're just going to do the collision one more time, and then we're going to, and then that's all for the physics. So, one more thing. If we find this one flag click block, we don't have anything that we're doing when the dead equals 1, so we can just put in here, if dead equals 1, then we are going to reset. So we'll use our reset block, and that'll reset all the player and stuff. Okay, so now that we got this mostly finished, now we just need to do the rest of the stuff. So let's see. Yeah. So when I receive tick, let's go back to this. Yeah, I think we've done everything here, except I'm gonna do the God mode now. So let's find this when I receive tick. So then in the else, we're going to do the God mode, because it is for the God mode. Because if it's not the mode equals 1, then we're gonna do God mode. So, I mean mode equals 0, then we're gonna do God mode. So first, actually, before we do God mode though, I'm gonna do something to switch it. So let's do if key M pressed for the mode switching. We can just do an if else here, and we can say equals, and then so mode equals 0, and that would mean it's the normal mode. Then we're gonna set the mode to 1, but if it is the else, that would mean it already equals 1. We're gonna set it to 0, and then we're gonna wait until we're not pressing M, so it doesn't just like spam. So not keep M pressed. Then, now that we have this, we can do the God mode. So for the God mode, we're going to do it's really pretty simple. I mean, it's just like a quick like trick you can do for it. So the God mode is, we're gonna say change the XV by, and then we're gonna do right arrow or D pressed. So I'll get the right arrow key pressed, and then I'll get D pressed, and then we can do minus the left arrow or the A pressed. So just put this in here, and then left arrow or A pressed, and then we can put this in here, and then we can say but actually it will actually only be like a really small number, so we can just do times 5 here. So drag all of this big block into times 5, and then just drag this into the set XV. Okay, so now we're going to say set the XV to XV times 0.8, because it's like friction again. So take this out, we can just keep this times here, and then we can do 0.8, and then XV because this is for the friction, and then we can do this if again for the absolute value is greater than 0.9, the absolute XV, remember, because it'll just freeze. And then we can do change the player X by the round of XV, so it'll just make it not like a decimal. And then we can change the scroll X. Wait, no, actually not yet. Let's do the YV then. So just duplicate this whole thing, and then we just need to change a bunch of stuff. So change this to YV, and then make this up arrow up arrow and W pressed minus the down arrow and S pressed times 5, and then we can do set YV to YV times 0.8, and then abs of YV, and then change player Y by round YV. Okay, so then we can just take these blocks here and take out the collision, because we don't need to do collision in God mode because we can just go through everything. So then put this right here on the God mode, and then now that this is done, we'll have God mode, but you can't see it yet because we haven't drawn player. So but before we draw the player, there's one more thing I want to do, because if we wait a minute. Yeah, because we don't have like a way to check if we're doing a gravity shift. So what we can do for this is we can say one flag is clicked forever, and then we can do an if, and then we can do collision contains, and then we can just do shift. Then we can do this if else here, and we can do this we can just we can just duplicate this right here, and we can just say if else shift equals 0, switch equals 0, then we can set switch to 1, else set switch to 0, and then we can wait until not collision contains shift instead, and then we can put this in here, and then so now we have the gravity shift done, and I think we can start making the level drawing. So if we go back to the what was it again? The render game, then we can start drawing the level. So this is where we start drawing. So we can make a new block to draw the level called draw level and run without screen refresh. So this is going to just draw the level, and we can say draw level right here. And then in the draw level, we're going to make a bunch of custom blocks to draw all the different things. So let's start by saying let's make a draw line block first. And for the draw line, it's going to have quite a few inputs actually. So just let me, So draw line is going to just a few actually. So draw line and then from, and then do an input x1 and y1, and then say a label and then say 2, and then x2 and y2. And then we can add another label called size for what size the pen's going to be. And then we can say run without screen refresh. So if we click this, as you can see, we have this block here now. And what the x1 and y1 is for is it's basically the starting position, and then it's going to put the pen down and draw a line to the second position. So from one place to another basically. So what we're going to do is set the pen size to the pen size input, to the size, and then we're going to put the pen up, so we're lifting it off the screen basically, so it's not drawing. And then we're going to go to block, and then do a minus, and then say x1 minus the scroll x, and then put this back in here, and then you can duplicate this and do y1 minus scroll y here, and then you can say pen down then, and then a pen up at the end. And just don't forget though to change this to x2 and y2, so it'll go to the second place. And then that's actually it for the draw line block. So what do we need next? Well, if you want to add a platform, say, then we're just gonna do it like this. So we can make a block, and we can say draw platform. So draw platform, and then we can say at, and then we can do x, y, and then we can do with length and height. Then we can put an input for length and another one for height. And then we can say and color for the color. And then we can say run without screen refresh. So if we want to draw a platform, first thing we have to do is add the x and y to the platform x and y so that it can do the collision. Because if we don't, then the game won't know where the platform is. So let's add this to the collision, to the platform X and platform Y. So add the X and Y, and then we'll add that something to the platform length and platform height. And we're not going to add X and Y to that. We're going to add the absolute value of the length and height. And make sure you put these in the right ones. So length and then the absolute value of the height. Okay, so now, so the abs, and then we can just add a platform to the platform type, because this is for making a platform. We can say platform, and then we can just say, I'm just going to clean up the blocks here, and then we can say, then set the pen color to the color that we put, and then we can just say, set the saturation of the pen to 0, and then we can set the brightness. Oh wait, actually, never mind. I'm doing that wrong. Sorry. So the saturation to 100, and then we can set the brightness to also be not 100 but 60, and this is going to add that cool outline effect. So set the brightness to 60, and then we can just say draw a line with the draw line block from X minus length, so it's like the length and stuff. And yeah, so now what we need to do is, just do X and then minus the length, and then if we do this, we can do Y plus height. And why we're doing Y plus height is because, it's going to be adding the height, so it would be in the top left corner right now, and then we'll draw that to X plus length, so it draws a line from the top left corner to the top right corner, and then with the size of 10, and we're doing it this way just because, a size of 16, and then we are going to duplicate this, and then we can draw a line from X plus length Y plus height to X plus length Y minus height, and then we'll do from X plus length Y minus height to X minus length Y minus height, and then from X minus length Y minus height to X minus length Y plus height. And then we can duplicate the whole thing, and then if we set the brightness to 100, then it'll be brighter, and then we can set the size to 10, and if we're setting to 10, then it'll be inside of it, and also hide this sprite because we don't need it to be showing for this. And yeah, so this is the draw platform block. So if you want to test it, we can say draw platform at, and then we can say 0, -100, and then we can say with length and height 150 by 50, and then color 60 for the blue platform that I like to use. And then if we do the yellow flag, as you can see, our invisible player is playing on this level, but let's make it so that the player isn't so invisible anymore and make a draw player block. So what we're going to do is just do draw player and then run without screen refresh. And then for the draw player, draw player, then we're just going to so we'll just make a block for the draw square at, just because we don't want this one to be to go to the school X thing, just because. So let's do, maybe we could just do that. Let's try just doing draw rectangle. Oh wait, no, that won't work. Yeah, let's just do a draw square block. So we can just make a basic draw square block. So we can say draw square. And I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. But yeah, so draw square at, and then we can say X, and then Y, and then we can say with size. So with size, and then we can say side length, and then we can just do and pen size, and then we can do pen size, and then yep, that should be it. And then we can do run without screen refresh. Okay, so now we can just put a set pen color to like 82, and then saturation 100. You can just do this the other way. I'm just doing it this way. And then brightness 60 again, so we can have that cool outline. And then we can just put this here, and then do a draw square at, and then we can just do player X minus scroll X and player Y minus scroll Y. So we'll get player X. Oh no, player Y. That one's the scroll Y one. And then we'll do minus the scroll Y. I mean, for that one, and then player X minus the scroll X. Okay, so now we have this. Then we'll do with the side length size of 25, and then pen size of 12 for this one. And then and then we can just do a brightness of 100 for this one, and then this one can be a smaller size of 8. And then if we clean these up, and then so now, oh, I forgot to do this draw square at. So I haven't done any of the codes for this yet. I forgot. So we just set the pen size to the pen size input, and then what we're gonna do is put the pen up, and then we're gonna go to the X and a minus. So X minus side length, and then divided by 2, and then but actually it's side length divided by 2. Oops. So put that in there, and then we can do Y minus side length divided by 2, and then we can put the pen down, and then we can duplicate this, and then we can, so we're gonna need 4 of these, and then what we're just gonna do is then change this one to -2, this one to -2, this one to -2, and this one to -2. And then we're gonna put the pen up, and now we have the player. Whoops, my bad. Okay, now we have the player, and see, now the player's not invisible anymore, and it's moving on the platform. So this is really good. Now I'm just gonna show how to add other stuff like into the game. So say we wanted to make a trampoline, then all we have to do is we can just say draw, and then bounce or whatever at, and then do X, Y, then we can say with length, whoops, and height, because this is going to be pretty much the same thing. We can do length, and then height, and then we can do and color, and then we can just do color, and then run without screen refresh. So if we click this, then we can just duplicate this, and then instead of adding this, we can just say add bounce to platform type. And so now this should work if I say draw bounce at. So let me get my draw bounce. Oh yeah, draw bounce at, and then I just say, let's see, 200 minus 100, and maybe like 250. And then I'll do 50 by 50. Okay, maybe like 220, 218, 216. And you're just gonna have to fiddle with numbers until you get them right. Okay, so I like this, and then I'm gonna say with color of like 15. And so then I have this trampoline here, and let's see if it works. And I can bounce, and I think that's a little too high though. So all we have to do if we want to change this is go over to this, and we can change this to maybe like 35 instead. So if we want to try this, I don't know if it rendered here. Let me try this again. Yeah, it's still way too big. If we try 30, okay, that's a little better. I think I'm gonna leave it at 30. You know what? Actually, maybe 32. Okay, so we are now. Let's add some more obstacles into our game. So I think I'll do lava, and so I'm gonna do a little trick to make this lava go up and down. So to do that, I'll just do a new broadcast, and I'll just broadcast a message here, and I'll call it Dingy, because I don't really know what to call it. And so then I'll just do when I receive thingy, then what we're gonna need is just a new variable called pen_tick, and what we can do then is say forever, and we can just say change pen_tick by 1, and then pen_tick by 1, and then if pen_tick is greater than 20, so greater than 20, and then we can put pen_tick in here. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna repeat until pen_tick is less than 1, so that would mean it's like 0. So pen_tick is less than 1. We're going to change pen_tick by -1, so it'll go back down. And then what we're going to do for this is it's going to do the same thing with the lava. It's going to go up, and then once it gets to a certain height, it's going to go back down. So we can make another block for the draw lava. So we can say draw lava at, and then we can say x, y again, and then with length and height, and then length. Here, I'm gonna add a and height. Then we'll just say and color, then color. Now we can say long skin. Okay, so again, this one is going to be super similar. Oops. Oh, I just did. Oh yeah. Okay, so it's going to be super similar to the super similar to the platforms, except it's just going to be a little different. We're just going to do so we're just going to duplicate this. Where is it? We can just duplicate this platform thing, and we can say add lava, and then we can put this under the draw lava, wherever this is. Oh yeah, under this draw lava here, and then it's just the same, except for this we can say y plus and then height minus, and then pen_tick times -1. So yeah, pen_tick, pen_tick, and then we can put this in all of the pluses when we have y plus something. So we'll just put this here too, and then here, and I think that's all the places that we have it. And then we'll also put them in all of these pluses. So if we just put this in here, then it should look like it's going up and down. Okay, so I think this is done. Then, and sorry if you hear background noise, but just, sorry. So then, go over here, and then I'm just gonna put a draw lava, so we can see if the draw lava worked. So, draw lava app, and then we can say, well, we don't, I'm just gonna take out this bounce. Draw lava at, 320, and then we can say -100, and then 100 by 50, and then we can do color 60, no, 0, and then, this is gonna have to be like, yeah, I think you can jump over that, and then, okay, 50, and like I said before, you just have to fiddle with this number until you get it right. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I have this, and as you can see, the lava isn't, but I just have to click the flag again. Oh no, that's a problem. Because I must have done something wrong here. Hold up. I think I did. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. This is supposed to be plus. So instead of doing that, we can just say minus normal pen tick, and it'll fix it. Sorry. So just put this here. So sorry about that, guys. I forgot that was supposed to be plus. So my mistake. Okay, so we fixed that, and now the lava is working right. So look how smooth this looks. So this is looking great. Then I'm gonna show how to add. Let's see. I'm gonna show how to add checkpoints and I think spikes. And I'm also gonna add here. I'm just seeing what else I'm gonna add. And I'll also add. Yeah, I think that's all. I'm gonna add checkpoint spikes and gravity shifts. So I think I'll do the gravity shift next. Again, we need a new block, and we'll say draw, and then gravity shift, and then at, and then we can say X, and then Y with length and height, and length. Okay. Well, you have to type this a lot, I guess. But it makes a cool game, so it's worth it. And color, and color, and then run without screen refresh, and click OK. Okay, so now what we can do is just again duplicate this one, and then we'll just say add shift, remember, because that's what we called it, to platform type. And if we want to see how that worked, we can go over here, and then here, I'm going to change this to 100, and then this to be 167, 87, okay, 97, sorry, okay, there, and then, I'm gonna, okay, sorry, here, I'll just leave it. So then, I'm gonna do a draw gravity shift. Well, actually, I don't want to just jump right onto the gravity shift. I think I'm gonna do a platform here. So, 417, negative 100, and then 100 by 50, and then color 60. And okay, that's a little, so it's like maybe 427. So okay, so 430. Okay, that's good. So now we have this. Now we can put in, and let me just, oh yeah, this is possible. Okay, so then we can just put in a gravity shift right here so that we can see if this works. But yeah, so let's put in this gravity shift here, and we can do 532 minus 100, and then we can do 50 by 50, and then color 30, and then maybe like 562, 72, 82, maybe 92, or maybe we can do 98. And then what we can do is we can set, yeah, so this is good. Then now, but there's nothing that we can go on to. So, we can, hold up, what can you, oh yeah, M. So yeah, we can just fly over this now. And then we can put a platform above it, so we can just do the, like 600, 700, we can do 100, okay, no, 200, yeah, I think that's good, and then we're going to do like 200 again, and then we can change this to be like 800. Okay, so now, we can hit this, and now we're here, so like this, and then let's test if our switching back works by putting another gravity shift right here, so we can say like 1055, then we can do 200, okay, 95, no, 75, whoops, I forgot a 0 there, 60, yeah, and then now we just need a platform here to catch the player so that it doesn't just fall. So I'll do 200, and then back to negative 100, so it's back on the bottom, and then I'll do 100 by 50, and oops, I forgot to change the color of this, so let's make this 60, and then maybe I'll do 100, so it looks more lined up, and I'm gonna also change this too. And there, so now it's more lined up, and the last thing before checkpoints I'm going to show you how to add is, I think, a spike. And so it's different because spikes are triangles, of course, so we're going to have to draw them a bit differently. But I have a good way to draw them that works really well. So yeah, I have speed boosts, but I don't think I'm going to do that part, just because this video is already over an hour, and I don't want it to get too long. Maybe I'll show like a different video on like how to add like other stuff, like a pause and stuff. Maybe this will just be part 1. I don't know. But so yeah. So we're gonna need another new block for this. We're gonna call this draw spike, and then at, and then again X, and the block is just gonna look the same, pretty much like length and height and all that stuff. So just make it like a normal like rectangle block, except just the codes inside of it are going to be different. So just add all these inputs, length, height, and then say and color. Okay, then oh yeah, code. I almost forgot to add it. Okay, and make sure to run the screen refreshed as always. Okay, so now what we're going to just do is the draw spike, we can here, let me zoom out so I can get this somewhere. Yeah, we can do this one. So I'm just gonna duplicate this and move it to the spike one. Then I'm gonna equal thing. Okay, so now I just have to find that spike thingy again. So I use this thing. Draw spike at. Okay, here. Whoops. Spike. Sorry. Okay, there. Finally found it. Okay, so then just delete this. And then we'll also say add lava, because we wanted to do the same thing as lava. Now there is a slight thing that I might say. It does not, it does the collision, and oh, I'm just changing this by the way if you wonder what I'm doing. It does the collision as if it is a square. So, just so you know, it will like, if you like are right on the edge, it'll say that you hit it, but I mean, it's like, it's good. It's good. It's pretty good. So the collision is pretty good. It works. Like you can't really tell. Anyways, so yeah. So after we do all this, we're just gonna do pretty much sort of like the same thing, except we're gonna do draw a line from X. So this would be in the middle, right where the X is, and then Y plus height for the point, because it's gonna be plus height, and then we're gonna do 2x plus length, and x plus length, and then we can do y minus height, and then again we can do the size of 16, this one, and then we'll just do from x plus length, y minus height, to x minus length, y minus height, and then from the x minus length, y minus height, we'll just do to x, and then change this to a plus, so it's back where it was at the beginning. Okay, so now, I think the spike's done. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot. We have to duplicate this, so we can do 100, and then don't forget to change these to be 10, and then if we go and do a draw spike here, we can see if it works. So let's do like 1 to 50. Okay, 1 to 100. Yep, and then minus 50 maybe. 60. No, whoops. How about just 0, and then like 30 by 25. Yeah. So here's the spike, and then we can say in color 0 for red, and then I'm just gonna make this be like negative 15, 10. Okay, there. And now, if we go back to normal mode, it also kills us, so that's good. And then the last thing is the checkpoints. So I'm going to show you guys how to add checkpoints, and actually I'm going to show you how to do one other thing besides checkpoints. And yeah, I might make another video how to add more stuff, but this is it for now. So this is the last thing, except for one other thing, I think. So then draw checkpoint point at, and then we can do x, y, and then width, length, and height. We can do hold up, let me just put a colon here, and then length, and then height, and then we can just do and color. Okay, now we are almost done. I'm just gonna clean this up and get this one works, and then just change this to checkpoint. And we can't just add a thing to checkpoint X and everything, just because it just didn't work when I tried it. So we just have to do it this way, and then so yeah, we just have to do it this way. I don't really know why, but it's the only way that it works. So then we'll just do it like this. And if we say draw checkpoint, I still don't know why it didn't work, but we just have to do it manually because the other way I was doing it didn't work. So here, I'll just make this even bigger to 200. And then I'll change this by 50. So 2, 0. Okay, so there. And then I'll just put a checkpoint here. And for the checkpoint, I'll just do 1 to 50. 300, and then 10, 1, 400. Okay, 350 should be okay. That should do it. And then 30 by 30. Okay, 25 by 25 maybe. Yeah, maybe I'll just do 20 by 20. Okay, that's the checkpoint. And then in color 90. Okay, so here's the checkpoint for it, and we can just say when clicked, when the flag is clicked. We can say, and this is the part that we just have to do manually. It's kind of a pain, but this is just how it works. We can just do player X, and then we can just, okay, so it's greater than like this. Player, wait until, and then we can just put a not just to make sure it works. Then we can put so not, and then an and then 2 equals. No, 2 greater thans. So player X is greater than what it is now. So 1, 3, 1, 4, and this is the manual part, but I mean it's okay. And then player Y is greater than let's see, negative 30. Okay, so then just put this in here and then duplicate this, and then just do this, and then we just say change checkpoints found by 1, and then you just have to do this every time you make a new checkpoint. It's kind of a pain, but it's the only way that I figured out how to do it where it worked. So just do it this way. You can just if you put another one, then you just have to change those. And then in the reset, we just have to add the other position of the checkpoint. So just 1, 3, 2, 5, and 10. So let me find this reset here. So what was it again? Add 1, 3, 5, 0, and then 10. Okay, so now we add this, and this should work now. If we click, then we do this, fly here, and then go over here. Now, if we die, okay, maybe this was just a 0, I think. No, wait, this was a 25. I remember now. Just let me do this. Okay, there. So now this was working, and the last thing I'm going to show how to add is a thing that'll help you if you're making levels. It'll help you find the position. And I'm already using key M pressed. You know what? I'm actually going to change this over here to be key 0 pressed, just because I want to. So I'm going to make this one key 0 pressed, and then I'm going to make a new one, and you can just sort of duplicate this. Well, actually, just duplicate this, and then just delete pretty much everything, and then we can change this one to be M. So when M key pressed, and the reason why I changed it to M for this one is because it's to show you the mouse position, so I thought M would be better. And for the mouse position, it's gonna show where your mouse is in the scrolling game. So we're gonna make a new variable called mouse, and then position. You can just do pose. It stands for position, and then I'm just going to do a large readout, large, and then all we have to do is we can say set the mouse position to a join, and then we can say join position, and then X, and then we can put in another join. Let's see, we're going to need a lot of joins. So this one's X, Y, and then, yeah, so this should be enough joins. Okay, so then we're going to say set it to, and then let's see, we're going to need, okay, just a second here. Trying to think how we should do this one best. Well, I think this would be the best, I think. Okay, well, anyways, so we need a round block, and then we're going to put in here, we're going to do mouse X times 10 divided by 10, I think. I don't know if this is necessary, but I don't know if it's not necessary, so you know what, let's just try it without this. We can just do mouse X plus scroll X, and we can just round this, so we can do mouse X, the actual mouse X, plus scroll X, and then if we just try putting this in here, let's see what would happen. And we can also hit this thing, which will do show variable mouse, and then okay, so it's not doing all the decimals. Okay, so this is way easier then. Yeah, we'll just do it this way, and then we can do join space, and then Y, one space, and then also put a space here, and then we can just duplicate this, and then change this to be mouse Y plus scroll Y, and now we put this here, and then we can say wait until not key M pressed, and then wait until key M is pressed again, and then wait until it's not pressed again, and then we can just say hide variable mouse position, And so now if we clean this up, then save as pen game, and then, yeah. So now it's showing the exact position. So now this will help if you want to place other stuff. And so yes, that took a very long time, but I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you make some cool pen games. I'd love to see them. So yeah, I might make a new tutorial shortly. Maybe I'll show how to add more to this pen game. But for now, that's it. Leave a like and make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, bye.